You should drink this.
Or you should drink that.
It's Bourbon Night. Hello, I'm Chad.
I'm Sarah.
And welcome to another Drink This or That. We have a couple of Michters here today, Sarah.
Yeah, these are ones that we see on the shelf all the time, and I think, they're part of Michter's core lineup, and people see those, especially newcomers to the bourbon world, and are like, how will I decide?
But basically, this one is a bourbon. The one that says Sour Mash is not a bourbon for undisclosed reasons, but the going theory is it probably has less than 51% corn in its mash bill. Neither a bourbon nor a rye.
Yeah, that's what their website says. Due to its unique grain mash bill, it can neither be considered a bourbon or a rye.
We also have proof and price differences. So let's break those down first.
Sure.
Proof on the US-1 Sour Mash.
86 proof, non-age stated, and $47 MSRP.
Okay.
And over here,
We go up in proof, but down in price. So this one is actually 91.4 proof and a little less at $40.
I mean, it's not a
suggested.
huge difference.
It's not huge.
Also non-age stated, so not a
Right.
huge difference in price or proof there, but there is a difference. With the small batch bourbon, we know with their small batches, they use a maximum of 20 barrels to blend a small batch bourbon, which I don't know. This is a small batch sour mash, so I'm assuming the same is true there.
Probably.
I think that's kind of their approach to small batches.
Actually small.
Actually
Instead
small.
of like 500 barrels like some of the big guys.
Right? And then with sour mash, the way that works, it's kind of like if you've ever made sourdough bread. So they make their, I have. They make their batch, their original batch or whatever of whiskey, and then they hold some of that mash back that they used for that original batch, and they use that as the starter for the new batch of mash. And then it just goes on and on and on.
Okay, yeah.
For forever. I don't know. I'm sure at some point there's something happens, but that's how my understanding works.
Put that on your label. And then something happens.
I'm sure there's protocol.
All right, since there is a slight proof difference, we're gonna start with the lower proof. So we're starting with the Michter's US-1 Sour Mash, which is here in our left hand, which would be the right for you all. Grain forward, but not in a youthful way, because sometimes you're talking about whiskey and you're like, oh, it's really grain forward. It's youthful, but I'm not getting any green youth on this.
I get a little bit more of like a touch of malty with like a chocolate, a little toasty, vanilla, a hint of like an acidic note. I don't know.
And a little bit of like a dusting of cinnamon.
If you gave this to me, I don't know that I would be like, this isn't a bourbon.
Right. Kind of just smells like a really good sandwich. I don't know. There's a slight savoriness to it. Maybe I'm just hungry. All right. To your health.
The thing I love about this is that even at 86 proof, you still get a lot of flavor with it. And I think that's kind of due to their signature low barrel entry proof of 103.
Yeah.
So you're you're having to add less water when it comes out of the barrel. So more of what's in the bottle has come in contact with the wood. And I think that's why you retain so much flavor at 86 proof.
Yeah, for sure.
I still think for under $50, like even though it's 86 proof, even though it's only 86 proof, I think it's got a great flavor. I think it's a nice utility bottle.
Like you said earlier, I wouldn't know right off the bat, hey, this isn't a bourbon. Knowing that, you're kind of like, yeah, it doesn't quite have exactly what some typical bourbons have going on, but it is it's like an enjoyable, different type of experience. So I do like that about it. All right, let's go on to the US-1 bourbon, but before we do, we want to hit pause and tell you about our home on the internet. It's whiskyambitions.com. That's where you can get the t-shirt that I'm wearing, hat, the Glencairns we're drinking from, our water glasses, in fact, all of our glassware, bottle cut candles, jar candles, our elemental elixir cocktail syrup, which is a mouthful sometimes, and more always coming soon at whiskyambitions.com.
You can become a patron at patreon.com and join our community for as little as $1 a month. That is where we release our exclusive barrel picks, access to after the episode stuff with me and Chad, discounts on that merch that he was talking about, and more.
Okay, we'll be right back, and then we'll get to this guy. US-1 small batch bourbon, 91.4 proof. We're a little bit less at $40. That's a bourbon.
Very, traditional, toasty, caramely. I always get almost like a toasted marshmallow on Michter sometimes with a graham cracker, kind of like a s'mores note.
Yeah.
I do like that signature scent almost that they have.
Yeah, now I know they have the toasted line, but I feel like
it
all
already
of their
gets
stuff
toasty.
Is toasted and then charred.
Well, they do that air drying thing too. That's part of their practice is like air drying. their staves for quite a long time. I think it's like up to 18 months or something like that.
I think it's 18 months. Yeah, a lot of places do that, but some just do it for 6 months. They do
Right.
it longer, and then they also do a toast to the staves before they char it.
Which I think comes across in their products. I think
why
that's
these
what
are
gives
toasted.
it that like toasted marshmallow graham cracker goodness. I don't think I need to describe anything else on the nose. That's what I'm getting. Like vanillas, you know, marshmallow, little chocolate.
Smells fluffy.
Yeah, little graham cracker. It's
All
nice.
right.
You do get, it's crazy because when you go to the bourbon, normally I don't pick out corn so much, but you can definitely taste that there's more corn in this
Yes.
than there is in this. It's sweeter.
It is sweeter, and it's less of a malty characteristic.
Yeah, almost like a sweet corn pudding. I think lately, I don't know if it's the weather or that we've gotten into scotches and some malted whiskeys, but I really find myself gravitating towards things that have a higher malt content. This is appealing to me. I don't know. I'm gonna take another sip before I judge.
Well, yeah, it's a nice it's a nice departure when you're looking for something different than a traditional bourbon. Yeah, but yeah, second sip here. Yeah, your typical caramel, vanilla, your quintessential bourbon flavors, but also that toastiness. The proof of just over 90. It's coming across.
Nice,
It's
yeah.
coming across well. Yeah, I do like that about it.
I like them both for their own unique reasons, but if I have to choose this or that, what will I do?
I'm sort of getting a little bit of a sweet tea off of this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely sweet. Like, it's giving me like sweet corn pudding, sweet tea
Southern
on the
vibes.
porch, southern vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get more of a difference going off the bourbon back to the
I would like to go
the
back.
sour mash than the other way.
Okay.
So now we're back on this guy, the sour mash. Yeah, much more of a lemon note on here. In contrast, while I really like these flavors, it's coming off a little bit more thin than the bourbon.
Okay, let me go back one more time. The bourbon does have a little bit more of a full texture.
It does.
Okay, let's do drink this or that.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
I thought that was gonna be
it's
the
a
case.
Split.
So, argue your case.
I feel like the bourbon is fuller, has a better mouthfeel, and it sticks to your ribs a little bit more.
Okay.
Slightly higher proof, which I enjoy, but I really think it's that traditional bourbon mash bill that is giving a little bit better experience for me.
Okay. I feel that at $40, this is a very fairly priced product, especially
Oh, there's
for
also that, yeah.
the levels of quality control that they put into their products and their low barrel entry proof and all those things. It's a great bourbon for $40. However, there are a lot of things that are, you could argue, are just as good, or in the realm of just as good for the same price point. So it is there, and I would recommend it. However, I think at $47, this is a little more unique. And if you've got a lot of bourbons
It is.
around this proof and this price point, you may be looking for something new. Or if you're like me, I've found myself gravitating to things that come across a little bit more malty. Now, I don't know the mash bill of this, so I don't know how much malt's in it, but it comes across more that way. For me, I find this to be more interesting, and maybe it's just my mood right now, but this is the one I keep finding myself going back to. Like, I've drank almost all of it.
Well, with American single malts being all the new rage right now, again, anecdotal, not knowing the malt in this, and it's definitely not just an American single malt, but if you're starting to get into that category, this might be, or if you're wanting to, this might be a good sort of bridge in between them. So I guess we've sort of proven get both because they both have things to offer.
And I love their regular everyday on the shelf rye. Like, I think they
Yeah.
just have a really good portfolio of core products that you really can't go wrong if you're kind of just stepping into the whiskey world. A good place to start when you're in this price range.
Well, there you go. All right, folks. Well, that's where we better leave it. If you haven't subscribed us already, you can do so by clicking right up here. There's suggestions of other videos down here. Hope to see you over there in one of those. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Chad.
Okay, until next time, drink more bourbon.